Know how to use the multimeter in the description, but you probably won't even watch this because I'm at the end of the video. I probably should have said. Okay, 2002 Sequoia bypass, 2 amps. Title. Okay, these are where the 2 amps are. 1, 2. There's 2 of them in the 2002 JBL system. Here's in the mids. I don't know if that's a premium, but it's a JBL system. Anyways, I got tweeters and mids, and it's a Toyota Sequoia 2002, and I got 2 amps. I'm bypassing them, is what I'm calling it, because I'm taking them out. That's what I'm doing. That's what it's called. Okay, cool. First off, you want a switched wire, which is gray on the factory 2002 Sequoia loom, radio loom, and then the amp loom has a wire we need too, which is ground. And then we have another wire in the factory radio loom, like I just said before, the amp loom, and that is a power wire, all-time constant power wire, 12 volt, and that is yellow and blue. So we got radio loom, and we got this amp loom, yellow and blue, 12 volt constant radio loom. Gray switched wire, 12 volt, which means it only turns on when you turn the key to accessory mode, and that's your switched wire to turn this on and off. So when you turn the car, turn off the car, it turns on and off. Don't ask me why, stuff happens. The ground, which is through the amp loom. This amp loom goes to the amp that I'm bypassing that has a brown wire, which I'm connecting to my black wire on my harness. But basically what you need to know is look up your harness guide, wires for your pins, and what wire goes where, D pin, blah, blah, blah. You understand that, translate it, cool. Stereo. You have your gray wire, stereo loom. Your power wire, this is switched. You have your yellow and blue wire. This is power 12 volt constant. You have your you have your brown wire. This one is your ground, so you can ground out, because that's that. And I didn't use anything to bypass anything in here. Like, these are gonna be like that. Like, I did it at first, but I'm bypassing them fully in, and then it connects to the tweeter, and then it comes back down as red and blue, and then goes into here, and that's your mid and your woofer. So I'm sure you can connect mid and woofer and splice it however you want. But I didn't even want to use the mid because I don't care, because I listen to music that's not, I don't really care. I care for the woofer sound. Got it? And then, so I ran a new speaker wire. So yeah, I just pulled one off. You connect it to here, you connect it to there. You get a 2 wire, like same 2 wire, or just 2 wires. You connect it to the positive and negative, okay? And then you run it all the way to your stereo, and you find out what on your harness has a positive and negative wire for your speaker, for the left, right, rear, left. Got it? And then you run, if you have a problem turning on, because my gray wire doesn't turn on for this factory Sequoia 2002, I had to run a pigtail tap. So I go into my internal fuse box, and I take this, and I take this out like this. And this is what I did. This is called a pigtail tap fuse, okay? A lot of people might know what it is, might not. Cool. You got 2 fuses. One for your cigarette lighter, because the cigarette lighter is a switch wire, which turns it on, accessory. Your cigarette lighter turns on so you can charge your phone or plug in something to smoke a fucking cigarette. God knows why we have that in cars still. I mean, usually you just use it now for a USB, charging your phone or something. And then I spliced it into 2 wires so I can get 1 wire from my amplifier to remotely turn on my amplifier during accessory mode. And that's basically what you need to turn it on all the time. And I don't know why it needs a 12 volt if the accessory mode turns it on and off for the stereo, but don't ask me that. And then, yeah, so I pigtailed it, spliced it, my fuse, bam, 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 you plug it in. This is where my thing goes. And if you want to know, the cigarette lighter is 15. So if you look at it, it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then 1 down. So you go 1 down, plug in your pigtail, do that pigtail, splice it if you do a sub. If not, just run a straight remote wire straight to here. Okay. Talked pretty, I think I said everything right. And then here you got your, you got this 100 amp safety fuse. So if anything happens, there's no fire. It's about 18 inches from the battery. Cool. And then this is where my awesome feeling is. This is my speaker wires come out of here. Everyone can kind of understand that one. But then you got 2 of them, and you run into your speaker wires. And those pass the electricity signal on to make that thing thump. And then you get your actual signal from your Bluetooth or your USB through your phone, running through your stereo to a RCA right input and left. And I chose a 1 RCA instead of a Y split to 1 to 2 RCA. It's better to run a 1 to 2 because that means it'll get a better signal and not have farting or distortion. So it'll run all the way through to the stereo. And I'll show you that right now. Besides that, you got your 4 gauge remote wire, call it REM, from the pigtail fuse I explained to you, and you got your ground right here. So that's 4 gauge power, 4 gauge ground, remote wire, fuse top, speaker wires. This RCA runs all the way to my stereo, like I was saying, goes all the way here, and picks a spot in the stereo called SW subwoofer signal. So you plug that into your amplifier, and it sends the signal through the amplifier to the sub, so it matches it, right? And then after that, my sub's set to 32 hertz, tune box, whatever, that's calculations. Then you got your whole EQ in here, whatever you make it sound good. You can do crossovers for your speakers and measure your head length, and you can do all that, right? I'm sure maybe you don't, maybe you do. yeah, I try not to go on YouTube a lot and look at this, but I couldn't find anything on this car, so I had to dig, and I did find someone who posted something that made me see it, but it still wasn't as clear as I thought it, or maybe it should have been. So I kind of figured I'd do something. And there's and there's stuff online, but it's basically not something that is not to the common person who doesn't involve themselves with wires very much, something that's easy to understand. But if you really want to do it yourself, you can just go multimeter, set to DC, like this with the line and the dash, that's DC, and you like pick a spot, like, I guess I can do it really quick. You just like, I go like this for my DC, I plug it in right there to touch metal. And then if you want to know where your power 12 volt constant, because you just need 12 volt constant, a switched wire for your accessory, and your ground for basically your stereo, and you just need a remote for your amp, and then the power huge 4 gauge to 12 volt power it, and ground, and then a speaker. So you grab your red, and then, you know, you touch it with the wires. I can't really, because I just taped it off because I just was figuring out how everything worked. But yeah, I'm getting 10 volts right now, probably because my door's been open, my battery's been draining. That's my power wire, yellow with a blue with the yellow stripe. And then if you want to find you also do that for like this wire, but my wire wasn't working, so I had to tap it. I don't know why this isn't working. It's something in here. Okay. And then you got your speaker wires. Like this speaker wire comes from, like this one is that speaker wire. Oh, pull it off. This one goes here, pick something, 2 positive, negative, 2 positive, negative. You know, you find out what limb is what pin is what on your stereo. And then if you want to find like ohms, like you want to find your ground, which is brown. You find your ground, you go like this and you tap brown, and I'm getting you know, I'm getting more ohms than I should be right now. You know, I think I'm getting fine ohms, because this ground is meaning, yeah, I'm getting perfect ohms because there's a dot right there, so it doesn't look like I'm getting more than 1 ohm. I'm getting about, and I'm touching it to the brown wire, I'm getting 89-ish, and going around and doing all that will make you find that out. So that's your ground wire, and cool. Hopefully that explains everything. How to do it my way and bypass both tweeter systems and the JBL system 2002 Sequoia Toyota. Bypassing this. You can probably not bypass either of these and actually make it work somehow. My splicing guy before me, I don't know what he did. Plugs into this, which is the mid and the subwoofer. I mean the woofer, normal speaker. And then yeah, I'm sure it would be like, if these plugged in, which mine didn't, so I really didn't even want to mess with it. I'm sure it would be like something where you would, right? So I think that's why even people use crossovers, because it's not very making much sense, because when you do just splice into a wire and connect it to like this, it'll just not work, and that's how wiring works. So look it up if you want to use your tweeters. Cool. I'll write it down in the description. It's pretty self-explanatory. You know, I know people don't want to look at YouTube, but hey, sometimes there's not a lot of videos on YouTube about what you want to do in life, or even information. It's all confusing, so you just send it, learn a little stuff and here and there, and there you go, you got your system running. But if you want to do it yourself, good luck. Bye.